What's up, Power 30 family? I'm Tiffany Eli, and we're at 5 Questions with Tiffany. And here I have Mr. Leslie Brathwaite. Hi. How are you?
How you doing?
So I know you're a sneakerhead, and I see you got some nice kicks on your feet. So tell us about them now.
The Fear Pack. You know, these the threes from the Fear Pack. You know, and you know, yeah, I just it's gotta be Jordans or LeBrons on my feet at all times.
Oh, those are your favorite type of sneakers.
Yeah, Jordans or LeBrons.
No,
I have some Kobe's on every now and then. Some general Nikes, but you know, Jordans or LeBrons.
And what about Adidas? How you gonna do them like that?
I mean, you know, it's kind of old school, but you know.
Yeah, you gotta bring up the new school.
Yeah.
So how does that work in your household? I mean, you have 2 beautiful little girls and a beautiful wife, and they're all about princesses and Barbie dolls, and then you're married.
They got Jordans and LeBrons too. They got the LeBrons come in the colorful. You know, they got the light greens and the purples. So you know,
best of both worlds.
Yeah, we match it up with all the princess gadgets and the Disney stuff. You know.
So besides princesses and having campouts at house and playing Madden, what else family events do you all do? That's
pretty much my life. No, I'm just playing. No, we do a lot of I'm a home type guy, so we do a lot. I believe in quality time, not always having to be doing something or going somewhere. I believe in quality time and the exchange between me and my daughter and the conversations that we have, especially with the 5-year-old. So I think that stuff is precious. So we do a lot of sitting around on the couch, and we do couch tents, and we have a lot of cool conversations in our little couch tents, and we watch a lot of movies, and we watch Gravity is like one of our favorite movies as far as on the adult side. So we do a lot of talking about space, and you know, I'm really into, and I really value the conversations that we have. Even at 5, you can have some real intelligent exchanges. And the 2-year-old, she's just nuts. I call her Little Michael Jackson because she always yelling. So that's her nickname, is Michael Jackson.
So would you say your children had a major influence with your goofy and outrageous side?
No, been that way since the 70s.
That's good. So if you had 3 words to describe yourself, what would you say?
I am very driven. I am extremely passionate, and I'm very happy.
Okay, so saying that, does that have anything to do with the greatness sign outside of your door?
Greatness. The sign itself, a lot of people kind of misinterpret the sign because it can come off as if it's a label, and it can come off as this arrogant, oh, I think I'm labeling myself as greatness, and that's not what the sign is for. The sign is to make sure I like to put up words of affirmation, and I like to motivate myself, and I like to make sure that every time I walk in this room, every time I attempt to touch a client's work or do some type of work, that my mindset is always to strive for greatness. And so the sign isn't for everybody else, it's for me.
And so speaking of striving for greatness, I mean, Pharrell's Happy, the one that you mixed, is #1 on the Billboard charts. It's a global sensation. So how does that make you feel, considering you won Grammys?
It makes me feel happy. No, no, it makes me feel great. It's good to know that your work is appreciated, that the intent behind what Pharrell originally meant for the record to be, the work that I put into the record, and everybody else who worked on the record, not just me. You know, I have colleagues who, guys who mixed the record in the movie. I have guys who mastered the record. We all had a part in making something that turned out to be pretty great, and it's history in the making. It's still writing itself in the history books, but it just feels good to be a part of something big, and that you work hard, and you love to see your work do good.
And in this industry, one major thing that you have to incorporate is the people. The music is all about the people. So how do you make sure you stay on top of your game so you present the world with something they'll love?
It's always about connections. It's about connecting with the people who create the music, and it's about connecting with the people who are going to listen to the music. And that's why I just immerse myself. It's about the culture of the music, the urban scene, hip-hop. I'm hip-hop at heart. And everything we do kind of reflects in that culture, even with Pharrell and what he's doing. And even if we work on something that's not necessarily hip-hop, it comes from a hip-hop state of mind and a hip-hop heart. And we just immerse ourselves in the culture. And it's about making sure that we stay in touch with what the kids are doing. And I got kids of my own, so right now in my house, it's you know, popping off. It's Frozen. It's Despicable Me 2. It's, you know, so having kids helps you stay young and in touch, and it's just about your passion for it. And when you're passionate about something like the music industry and like hip hop and urban culture and just passionate about the culture in general, you have no choice but to be immersed in it, and you know, you just stay in tune.
Mm-hmm. And from 1994 to present day, you've worked with legends from Aretha Franklin to Lil Wayne to Tip, and then you go off to Cher and Monica. So if there was two people, let's say a male and a female, that you could work with now that you haven't worked with before, who would it be?
Dead or alive? Or are we just doing alive?
Let's do two dead, two alive.
Okay, two dead, two alive. Bob Marley would be the first person that pops into mind. The second person might probably be somebody like Janis Joplin, both who have passed away. And then alive, let's see, who do I want to work with that I haven't worked with? It's a very tricky question.
That means you do good work if you have to think hard about that.
Yeah, that's a tough one. And I don't know. I'm trying to think.
You can't be clueless. You can't.
I've never worked with Cyndi Lauper, and I love Cyndi Lauper. I've never worked with her, but I grew up listening to her album. She's So Beautiful is like one of those ones for me. If you ask me my top 10 albums of all time, that album's gonna be on that list. So Cyndi Lauper's one, so I thought of one. Let me see if I can think of a male. Let's see. Wait, I got one. It's coming to me. It's coming to me. Wait for it. Wait for it.
Twice.
Wait for it. Bono from U2. Never worked with him, and I would love to work with him.
So what's your favorite genre? I mean, you went from different genres. You got Beyonce and Jay-Z to Bob Marley.
Right. I love all genres of music. My favorite, and probably because I grew up in that culture and was born around the same time it was born, is hip-hop. And that's where my roots are. You know, when I get emotional when I hear things like Outkast coming together for the tour, and Illmatic, you know, is on its anniversary run, and all this. You know, that hip hop is just, you know, it's in my blood. You know.
That's actually good. So did you grow up listening to different genres?
Yeah. Even from an early age, like I said, hip hop was the base, but I grew up in the island, so I mean, I was exposed to calypso and reggae and all kind of different world music, and even, you know, as a kid, I would focus on the soundtracks and movies, and I would be listening to the film score.
So speaking of that, did you play any instruments when you were younger?
Yes, I play a lot of instruments. I don't play anything well. I just I can give you the fundamentals. I know my mom put me in piano lessons when I was younger, so I dabble on the piano. And it's one of those things where if you have a musical mind and your base is the piano, you can probably, with some technique, pick up any instrument and kind of find your way around it. One day I had a day off, maybe about 12 years ago. I had a day off, which is rare for me, and I just decided to go to Guitar Center. I bought a guitar, I bought an instructional DVD, and I sat there all day and taught myself how to play guitar. So like I said, I can play a couple different things, but nothing well.
So a lot of that stuff was self-taught.
Yeah.
Well, that's actually good that you had the patience to sit there.
Yeah,
I've tried that plenty of times.
When you're passionate about something, you'll find a way.
So tell me the difference between an engineer and a producer.
Okay, a producer is usually the person who composes and it kind of brings together the structure and the fiber of the song. They're the one who lay down the tracks, they play the music, and then most producers get involved with the artists, even with the writers, and say, okay, once the song is written, some producers write, like Pharrell, he does write as well. But some producers don't. They just immerse themselves in the music, and then the writer comes along, writes the song, and then the producer takes that and they direct the artist and tell them exactly how to sing it, da-da-da. Once the material is... and then there's a recording engineer that sits there and records, does all the technical stuff, records all the music for the producer. Mix engineer, which is what I am, I take all the recorded material and make it sound good.
Basically, that's what it is.
Yeah.
So if there was anything besides music and besides playing Madden, that you could do, what would it be?
I'm big on, I love outdoor sports. I've been snowboarding for 20 years now. So I love snowboarding. I love anything to do with the snow. I think we're both going to retire in Aspen, Colorado when it's all said and done. I just love Colorado, and we go there every year. Took my daughter out there a couple years ago, and she put her in ski school, and she loves it. And so the snow and the activities in the snow, that's my thing. So if I wasn't doing music and I wasn't playing video games, I would be somewhere on somebody's mountain snowboarding.
You know, that's different because you're from the Virgin Islands,
right?
And then you come to Atlanta where the weather's crazy.
Right.
One day it's raining, one day it's snowing, then the next day it's 90 degrees.
Right.
And so that's
yeah. I don't know where my love.
Snow.
Yeah, I don't know where my love for that came from. It's just one year I used to work with a producer here who did TLC, Boys to Men, ABC. His name is Dallas Austin. In the early 90s, and one year that was his thing. He always went skiing, and he invited me on a trip. This was back in 94, yeah, 93, 94, and tried it, loved it, fell in love with it. Next time we went the same season, took some lessons again, and got good, and been snowboarding ever since.
There it is.
Yeah, every year, I just, gotta go.
So I think you break the stereotype for most engineers and producers. It's all about respect for you. And a couple years back, maybe even more than a couple, there's an incident where you turned down an invitation from Whitney Houston to work with her due to drug abuse. And what went through your mind when you turned her down?
I love Whitney. I've worked with her at various intervals in my career. She and Bobby had seen me come from being an intern to an assistant engineer to a recording engineer to a mix engineer. She's seen me pretty much in every stage of my career, and I've worked with her on numerous occasions. But it just got to a point where I didn't want to see her destroy herself. And God rest her soul. I mean, you can only play with that stuff for so long. And I just, becoming a family man and having kids, and you kind of got to set your moral standards, and you got to know, like, hey, love you, but I can't watch you destroy yourself. And I can't be a part of it. And I can't come to sessions and sit here and, I remember times I showed up for some sessions that they paid me for in advance. I sat there all week long. Whitney showed up one time. She was high. She left. So I pretty much got paid to do nothing. And for me, anybody who knows me knows that that's not a good feeling. I love money, and I love to make money. I love doing what I do, but I don't want free money. I don't want somebody to just give me money. I don't want to just sit there and waste the whole week, and that's not what I'm about. I'm about doing what I love to do and getting paid to do it. And I don't want to watch people destroy themselves. So I tend to stay away from that side of the industry. I purposely insulate myself from all of the partying and the drugs. And I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't do none of that kind of stuff, and I barely go out. I've been in Atlanta, for 21 years, and there's tons of clubs I've never been to. That's just not me. And I found that that's my way of insulating myself from, all the trappings, if you will. And then now I have kids and a family, so it's even more so a part of the way I move.
And so last but not least, any conflicts or problems you came across during your journey to the position you're at, and how did you, what's the number one?
The number one thing is something I just posted about yesterday, which is people, and even very early in my journey, but even more so now that I consider myself to be a very seasoned professional in what I do, people are always trying to get over on people. And, the music industry is not for those who don't have thick skin. And, people are going to try to snake you out of your money, and they always want to, try to undercut you, or they feel like they can get somebody else to do it for cheaper. And I always tell people, you get what you pay for. And so if you want to go ahead and get somebody cheaper, and then when you come back, you still got to pay me on top of what you paid them. So you're spending double the money you could have saved in the first place. So I'm very big on, I posted something on Facebook yesterday. I think it read something like, if you think it costs a lot to hire a professional, wait till you hire an amateur. So, you know, you know, that's been a constant fight, you know, with a lot of industry professionals, and not just engineers, but even if you look on the video side of things, the video editors, the framework people, the people who make all the visual effects happen, all those people who work behind the scenes to make things happen, a lot of times they can tend to get taken advantage of. And, you know, in the music industry, we don't have a union for engineers, and, you know, people can tend to try to take advantage of you. So that's the constant fight, is making sure that you're getting paid what you're worth, but you kind of got to balance it with, hey, times are different, records aren't selling as much, so you got to kind of be, it's a little, you know, give and take, push and pull kind of thing. But people trying to take advantage of you is like one of the main fights. Even now, in my career, where I am, sitting here with a #1 record and everything, people will still try to take advantage of my services.
Well, thank you so much for this interview. We definitely appreciate it. Thank you. Well, that just about wraps it up for 5 Questions with Tiffany. And for more information on Leslie Brathwaite, you can follow him at
Lester Bud, LESTERBUD, on Twitter, and then you can just Google my name and find me on Facebook. I'm me on Facebook.